How was your day today?
Not bad. Not bad.
Mm.
Another day.
Okay. You ready to get the show started?
Sure thing.
Hey, everyone, and welcome back to One Man and One Woman, the podcast. I am one of your co hosts, Tara Michelle.
And I am J. Flan.
This day, morning, afternoon, night, whenever you're listening, we're going to be talking about Black dysfunction. Now, I have no idea if that's the title that J. Flan is going to keep, but it's a culmination of things that I want to talk about this evening. And I do want to start off by saying I do understand that as a people, specifically Black people, and I don't mean Africans and Haitians and Jamaicans who come over here knowing their history, their ancestral history, and their tribe. I am talking about Black people who have been here or whose ancestors have been here, as far back as 500 years, maybe. And we are the people who don't actually know our history. We don't know our heritage beyond those people who have passed down those stories since we've been in this land. I understand that during slavery, things happened, vile things happened to female slaves, which produced mulatto children, which were, or who, they were trained to think that they were better than the field Negroes, and they were called names like house Negroes and porch Negroes. And you guys know Negro is not the word that was used. However, I do understand the light skin versus dark skin. Where it came from. I do understand that we are still currently doing it, and that's the part that I don't get. The why. Why do we still do this? And in this episode, I want to touch on why and how or why as a people is it so hard for us to support each other? Why is it so hard for Black people to unify? With this information out there, we know the origin of the behavior. We know the origin of the dysfunction. With that information out there, why can we still not build together, grow together, trust each other? So I will pose that question to you, knowing how many years into this thing we are. Why do you think, as a whole, Black people still can't get along with each other?
I don't know. I think if if I knew, I'd be trying to fix it. Yeah, I really don't know. I see the effects of it. Yeah, I wish I had an educated answer for you on that, but I don't.
Okay, so let's talk more about or speak specifically to some of the things that we're still seeing that are detrimental. I have seen the light skin versus dark skin thing die down a bit. But I think when we live in a country like America where the European aesthetic is what's pushed, you're still going to look at the movies that come out that win all of the awards, the Golden Globes, the Oscars, and things like that. And you're not going to see very many dark skinned women or men for that matter starring in these movies and winning these awards. So we do still have America as a whole that is not allowing us to see, like not allowing the kids to see themselves in these positions. I can speak from a place of where I work, where the student population is, very high in terms of Black students, but the amount of full-time faculty members that we have, I believe there's one Black woman or maybe two Black women and one Black man. So again, in real life, we are seeing this problem. And I think because of that, we're having a hard time because others will not make it an even playing field for us. We make it, an uneven playing field as well. It's like if you can't beat them, join them, and situations like that, I don't, like you said, I don't know how to guide somebody into saying, hey, despite how the world sees you or treats you, you don't do that to you. And when I say that, I mean we don't do that to each other. Because I'm of a fair skin, I don't buy into the hype that I'm somehow better than my dark skinned sisters and brothers. It's ludicrous to me, but we still see it all the time. And I go back to shopping. We have these days where stores will come out and say, okay, just shop black. Or you have black stores open up in your neighborhoods, and you will go to any other ethnic group but your own and spend all the money, pay whatever prices they ask for. But when you're going into your own businesses, someone who looks like you is the owner and behind the counter, you want a discount. You want to price check everything. You want to complain about how you can go to, and these are the terms I hear, the Arabs or a Chinese store or something like that, and pay much less. Why do you think it is that we don't support each other in business? And you
These
got to tell
are,
me something more than you don't know.
yeah, no, these are very. I don't know how I'm supposed to explain the mindset of someone else, but yeah, you know, I don't know. I am a person, a black person that has tried to start a business or offer a product, and it's not easy to do. You know, and if I knew why it was people would rather not do business with me or rather do business with somebody else or would promote, you know, other folks, over a person that they know and are connected with and came from the same place they came from, whose success story should be theirs if, if they supported it, but they don't see it as that way, I guess. They don't see my success as their success. So they don't. And, and if I understood why, I probably would be trying to, strategize of a way to compensate for that, but it don't. And you just try and fail sometimes, succeed rarely, and you keep going. But yeah, I can't explain a mindset that I don't share. I'm not sure how people got that way or why they still feel that way. I just know it doesn't serve
Okay.
us very well.
Okay. Or at all. 100%. I agree with that. So, as you were just talking, and I was thinking about another question I wanted to ask you, I put something together. And so I'll ask you this question. Um, What if the reason that we don't support each other at large, the reason that we don't get together and come together is because we feel like there are so few opportunities and spaces. So, like you were just saying, they don't support you because they don't see your success as their success. What if people are sitting back thinking, if he gets it, there's only one spot a year that they're going to let us do something, that they're going to let us thrive, or there's only four spots, you know, then if I support him, that shuts me out. That's an opportunity that I don't have to get it. So it's a crab in the barrel mentality. We are all going to pull each other down on our way to the top instead of utilizing each other and unifying together so that we can all win. We really are stuck in the belief that the masses or the others who are in charge, the 1%, the 3%, however you want to look at it, are never going to let all of us win. So it's every man for himself.
Yeah. I mean, and that's, if that is the way a person is thinking, it's just a false narrative. But most other groups don't have to depend. Well, some groups feed off of other groups, as as we've seen. But most other groups don't have to depend on another ethnicity to be successful, or another group to be successful. And especially here in America, the black dollar reigns supreme. There aren't many industries that survive if they don't get the black dollar. So if we kept it in house, we don't need them to provide us a space. Like,
Absolutely.
we have the ability to sustain it all on our own. In fact, most of the stuff they provide us spaces for are our own things. Like, they sell our culture and provide us a space in that industry. Like, that's insane. We shouldn't be waiting for someone else to provide us a space in an industry that sells the culture that we create. They can't create any of it. There is no industry without us. So the idea that somehow we've got to vie for, compete for the few spots that they give us, is just a false narrative. Like, we if we took care of each other and supported each other, it wouldn't be necessary.
Exactly. I truly feel like stories like Black Wall Street or stories that we need to share, still focusing on the damage that was done and the absolute destruction and death and things that happened at the hands of others who saw us thriving and just couldn't take that. The goal here is to keep us from being unified. And those who oppress us are winning. Every day they are winning. What they have been doing for the last 500 years, maybe even more, but specifically here in the United States, they have, from the Willie Lynch letters to everything else they have done, they have trained us so well to hate ourselves and to hate each other. And I just don't know how to get through to us. But like you were saying, I think about the other ethnicities that I know. You know, you have Jewish people, you have Indian people from India, because natives, aka Native Americans, are not Indians. And you know, Asian different groups from Chinese to Vietnamese to Taiwanese, these groups leave their countries and already know where they're moving to, because their people set up shop, they set up these communities, and they all just come and move here. And they have their house and they have their cars. Now they're getting incentives and they're getting stipends and things from the country, this country, which we are not going to get, but we're already here and established, and we have homes and jobs and families, and we are a community. We should be a community. And like you said, if we operated the way that the Jewish religion does, those group of people who share that religion, because again, Jewish people are not a people, that's a religion. um if we did these things, we would be able to sustain and thrive, not just survive, but thrive. And we fall short every single time. Now, what we will cling to and what we will hold on to is very damaging behavior. Let's just talk about the way that we'll support a sexy red where nothing that comes from her is good. The music, the talent, the lyrics, none of it's good. Absolutely none of it. You're being the most ratchet, outrageous, deplorable version of a human being that you can be, and you're an embarrassment to your ethnicity and to your sex, in my opinion. But people say again, go on and get that money. I'm happy for it. Get that money by any means necessary. Do whatever you got to do, because they not, most of us are not going to make it. Again, that led me to the mentality of, maybe they think it's so few spots that no matter what you're doing, like Paris Hilton said, all attention is good attention. That's the mentality that people have nowadays, and are willing to sacrifice it all just for the almighty dollar. How do we how do we get the word out that that's not how we should be, that we shouldn't be willing to take anything from anyone if it sets us as a people back like thousands of years in regard to how we appear and how we're seen and how we're respected?
I mean, I
Does it start with maybe changing, I mean, raising our children to not fall for that?
Yeah, I think everything starts in the home. You know, whatever change, you have to be the change that you want to see in the world. Because we don't have control over other human beings. You can't try. The more you try to exert control over other human beings, you just drive yourself crazy. So I think all change has to start at home. All change has to start with you and the people that you have direct contact with, and then let that light shine and maybe affect other people. I don't think that the message isn't out there. I think to a certain extent, yeah, we've been conditioned, and we continue to participate in the conditioning of ourselves to gravitate toward things that do not serve us. I think I was having a conversation with you the other day, and I was talking about Killer Mike, and Killer Mike. I want to say off the top, I love Killer Mike. I love the activism that he does. Trying to participate in these black banks. I love what Killer Mike is doing, and I think Killer Mike does great things for the community. I think on this project that I was listening to, he had a song on there, and what I was getting from the song was that, he was thankful that God protected him from getting arrested and getting shot at and all these other things while he was out trapping. And to me, like, that just felt weird that somehow, and I don't think Killer Mike is alone in that kind of feeling of like the gangster with the heart of gold, or even Kanye West, Jesus walks, or somehow, Jesus is with me and protecting me and on my side while I do vile and horrible things to the people around me, while I contribute to the detriment of my community, while I destroy other lives. God was protecting me, and thank you, God, that I didn't get arrested. It's like, what did that mean for those other people? Like, we are, like you said, we are so there is so much. I don't want to say we are, but there is so much push toward securing the bag and the bag. You know, and I think Kendrick Lamar has a song like, "How much is a dollar worth?" You know, is this money good money, and if and is it praiseworthy to praise somebody for pursuing a dollar at the expense of the people that look just like them? And a lot of the things we do or you see being done right now are that way. When we see this music and stuff come out, and I'll say this also, I'm an artist. Well, I'm an artist in the same way that everybody is an artist. I think we all create art at some point. I don't have no music out there. You don't need to go search for it. I ain't selling nothing. Ain't no album, mixtape, anything like that on the way. But I do create art from time to time. This show being one of those things. So I believe all art should have the right to exist. Do I like Sexy Red's music? No. Do I think it's good for people? Do I want my daughter to hear it? No. Do I think there's an adult out there who that's their thing and I want them to have whatever fun they can have listening to it? Knock yourself out. So I don't want her music to not exist, but we have allowed the system to make us very one note. I just did a radio show the other day where I was playing like songs I consider to be hip hop anthems, like not just hits, but like anthems from my childhood. And in my childhood, A Tribe Called Quest got played on the radio right next to Wu Tang. Diggable Planets and the Rebirth of Slick got played on the radio right next to Wu Tang. Dead Prayers by Hip Hop. I mean, not Dead Prayers by Hip Hop. Hip Hop by Dead Prayers got played on it, was a hit, was a smash. Took over a summer. Was played on the radio right next to Wu Tang. So, and not saying Wu Tang is horrible, but I'm just saying that, we don't have any of that balance anymore. We got Sexy Red and who? Nobody, you say Rhapsody, people admit that she's a great rapper, but you can't name 3 Rhapsody songs. Most people. I know somebody out there running them off right now. I wasn't talking to you. But you know what I'm saying? Like it's like we have Ice Spice and who? We have,
Lotto and
lot of,
all the riffraff that's just like
and
her.
even with the male rappers, we got Lil Durk and then who? Like, you talk about J. Cole, somebody gonna tell you he's boring. Like we have conditioned ourselves to not to view things that are good for us as not entertaining.
Is that a
It's like
dig at me? Because
I
I think J. Cole is absolutely boring.
I mean if the shoe fits, but I would like, you don't have to take everything personally, but hit dog will holler. But you know what I mean? But we do this. We
Right.
do this. We do this where we want the negative. We want the rah rah. We want to look at. We spend more time, even if we don't like it and agree with it. We have more fun bad mouthing it and talking about how bad. You know how many shows I've been on in the last year where Sexy Red has come up, and I want to say 99.9% of them we never had anything positive to say about her. But you know how many shows I've been on where Rhapsody came up? Very few. We talk about what we don't like and what we hate and what's bad way more than we ever do, but we just gotta balance. Balance. That's it.
Yeah, and that gives it more publicity when you do that. And when you're watching the video only to discredit it or to say you don't like it. Like I've never watched a Sexy Red video in my life and I've never listened to a song of hers willingly. But I've been around other people. I've heard people spouting the lyrics and I'm like my soul is just like I absolutely want her music to not exist. I am not going to subscribe to the mess at all. If there's no redeeming qualities and if it doesn't help anyone, even if a person is living that lifestyle right now, it's not helpful to be the STD queen and all this other craziness. No, we don't need someone making it seem like that behavior is okay. Now, that's going to have me jump over to another thing that I'm noticing with us. The self hate is ridiculous. The amount of Black people who hate themselves and hate the qualities about themselves and then turn that on other Black people, it is just so horrible. I've been watching the Olympics, as we all have. That is what's currently going on in the world right now. And the number of Black women who don't want to mention how great Simone Biles is, or even if they do, they have to say, yeah, she's great, but what's wrong with her hair? Why doesn't someone do her hair? Why won't she put some gel on her hair and slick it down? Why does her hair always do like that? Never mind, she's jumping 12 feet up in the air and she's only 4'8" and she's doing 4 million flips in 3 seconds. Forget all that. Somehow gravity and air and wind and velocity and all those other words that could probably describe what's going on. She's supposed to keep perfect hair. And it's us that's doing this. It's not just us. We see all the posts about Mary Lou Retton being so classy and so graceful, and it's all digs. But the others are like that. We know they're going to tear us down. It hurts me when I see us. Look at how they talk about Noah Lyles. Okay, he do too much. He's too this is that. And Shakari, she do too much. This is and that. They're so disrespectful with their celebrating. They should be glad they had the opportunity. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The self-hate, the hate for one another is absolutely ridiculous. So again, we go back to these groups that stick together no matter what, right or wrong, in the public eye, they are sticking together. We love to pile on. And when we see people that look like us doing great, we have to find something wrong with them and focus on that. We don't even want to celebrate the fact that this woman is winning gold for our country, but she got to be cute when she do it. She has to have her hair done when she does it. Her husband says that he thought he was the prize and now she's supposed to divorce him. I bet you was a whole bunch of single, miserable, never been married, 12 baby daddy having ass hoes that was saying that to her.
Good lord.
Excuse me, but it's too much for me. And I just don't understand why we don't see this as destructive behavior, the jealousy and the self-hate. But how do you even address that? Because then when you get into the comments and you say something like that, now it's turned into a fight between the two of you. And it's like, that's not what I came for. I came to try to help you understand why your behavior is deplorable. But not only do we do terrible things to each other, we don't want to hear about it, talk about it, or even dare acknowledge it and make change when somebody comes to us to say, hey, we shouldn't do that.
So was that a shot at me? Because I damn sure talk about Kevin Durant and them little buckshots he got on the side of his face every chance I get. I need a nigga to
Oh
get
my
right.
God.
Nigga, get right. You from the DMV, homie, get right. You got too much money, get right. But
Listen, you know what? I've
I
never
do
heard you say
acknowledge,
that.
I do acknowledge his immense talent and skill as a basketball player. I just want somebody to brush his hair. That's all
Mhm.
I. My bad, Katie.
See,
I love you. I love you,
that's
Katie.
not even, you're not helping.
It's we should able be able to do both. I don't want us to be like other groups because the support each other, whether right or wrong, is a slippery slope. Because then somebody would say, well, then you shouldn't have nothing negative to say about Sexy Red because she wanted you and she doing something. So it's like I don't want us to
No, no, no,
fall
no,
into that place.
no, 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 no. I'm saying other ethnic groups do that. Whether it's right or wrong, they support each other. I didn't say we had to. If
Right,
you wrong, you wrong. That's where I'm
I didn't.
coming from.
I ain't say you
But
said it. I just say I don't want
you,
that to happen.
I don't see as many people tearing Sexy Red down as I do Simone Biles, and I have a problem with that. I know a lot of people do say Sexy Red is absolutely terrible, but I see a lot of people in her comments saying "Get the bad girl." When I go and look at Simone, it is just but her hair, but her hair, but her hair, but her hair, but her hair. Did you see how many medals she just did you see what she just did on that floor routine and on that vault? Does that matter? And why does it have to be said in the same breath? Maybe after the Olympics, after we didn't gave her all her accolades and stuff like that. Or maybe you just keep those conversations in your living room. Tell every member of your family what you think. Why do you have to get on social media and shame her and down her? And we do this all the time.
I
But
don't.
when it comes to where we will unify, we will absolutely unify when we looking at the top 10 murder list and our city's number one. Yeah, that's what I thought. Absolutely. That's where and then we real quick when we get mad at somebody to say where we done came from. And because we know the reputation for death and destruction and murdering. So we will unify on the most ratchet, crazy, and I'm guilty of it. You and I had a conversation before, and I think you were telling me the top like cities for most murders or something, and you didn't mention St. Louis. And I was like, what you mean? I went looking like, hold up, like it was a bad thing to not be on the list. Like I wore it as a badge of honor to be from St. Louis, where mofos better know they better not step incorrect. What? And I'm me. But I also grew up here on the north side and the west side. So that is how I thought when I was younger and I didn't know any better. And real quick, it came out. That's a proud moment that St. Louis maybe got their stuff together and stopped murdering people, But instead, I was like, wait a minute, what you mean we not on there? How? How crazy is that? How crazy is that? And on these things, we will unify. We will get together, and I'm so St. Louis is a thing where we come out and say the worst. Sometimes it's about food and it's okay, but I'm so St. Louis. If you step on my shoe, I'm gonna shoot you. Stuff like that. And even though some might be serious, I don't think we should joke like that. And I don't think those should be the proud moments for us when we are part of death and destruction and chaos and all the bad things. That's when we want to unify together and say, "You got dang all right." How?
I mean, it's a couple things there. One, I really think, and we gotta consciously do this, or people should. I can't tell you what you got to do. People should maybe think about consciously doing this. Social media will have you thinking the world is way worse than it actually is. I'm not saying that this stuff doesn't happen because it absolutely does, but especially like what we were talking about, if you see a video about something stupid and you don't like it and you decide to comment on it and share it, what you told the algorithm is that that's what you want to see because that's the stuff that you engage in, and so it's going to show you more of that. And then what in turn that does to you is that convinces you that that's what the world is like, that or that's all that's out there because that's all you see, because that's all they show you. I'm gonna start putting invitations out there. Come Jared Flanagan on Facebook. Look me up. Go through my timeline. Go through what I post. If you need a break from the nonsense, it's nothing but all I is jokes, hip hop, and inspirational quotes. Maybe an occasional lyric here and there or something like that. But that's all I post. There is I see the world differently because I guess I choose to. I don't see some of the stuff that you see. And not again, not saying that it's not there, and not saying that it's not very prevalent, but there is another view of the world. And I think if whatever you put your energy to, whatever you give energy to, multiplies. So the more we put our energy in these places, or even if we see it and it exists, we don't have to go over there. We don't have to go over there and add energy to it. We can go find something else. And there is so much great happening right now. What is it? We've had a lot of black female first at these Olympics. First. And it's crazy. It's always crazy to me when it's like 2024 and a black person is still doing something for the first time. It just shows you you know, how much we've been kept out of things or kept away from things for so long. But those things are happening right now. There's a lot of good happening. There's a lot of
And even with what
positive.
you just said, Julian Alfred, I think is her name. Too many people in the comments talking about she not black. You say she from St. Lucia. Are you kidding me? Are
I
you
just
kidding? They cannot help themselves at this point.
I don't believe that stupidity or ignorance or any of the negative things in human that plague humanity are ever going to disappear. I think those people will always be there, and they will always be the loudest. We need to start competing with them. We need to start competing with the negativity rather than just be upset that it exists. It's not going away, but we allow them to be the loudest. Let's be loud too. Let's be loud and whatever, loud and proud. That sounds crazy. It's probably a slogan the LGBTQ community uses. So I got to tread lightly, but
Oh my God.
I'm
Oh
just
my
saying.
God.
Do you remember the day like growing up? We had the national black anthem. That was something we sang every day at school. I remember when the rappers would get together and the East Coast would make a song and the West Coast would make a song. Self destruction was a thing. I'm black and I'm proud was a thing. Like there was a time where we did that. There was at least some balance, some semblance of balance. The TV shows were different. Our depictions on TV, we weren't all just gangsters and criminals. Like the heroes didn't always have to be the drug dealer. Like there was Dwayne Wayne, Dwayne Wade, Dwayne Wayne. I'm getting the two confused. Dwayne
Dwayne
Wayne
Wayne.
was a hero. Was a hero. Was a sex symbol. Like women wanted Dwayne Wayne, and he was a dude
A
that wore flip
nerd.
up a nerd. He wore flip up glasses and was a
Yes.
math professor. But we had that imagery. We had Kyle from Living Single. Women wanted him. I don't even remember what Kyle did, but it was something special, and he wore suits all the time. And even
It was
the
that
dude,
voice, baby.
even the
It was
dude that
him
was
and
a
Mac,
handyman,
baby.
or the dude that was a handyman, or all of the guys that